Good morning, guys. Danny here at Partay. Got some decent sleep last night. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm away from home, it's always hard to sleep through the night. When you're not in your own bed. So last night was the first decent night's sleep I've gotten in about 4 days. So I feel great and invigorated this morning. And I figure what better time than to address something. I had a subscriber that reached out and let me know about Ken Bird trying to replicate the free paint mix that I'd put out there. I just wanted to have a couple of comments about that. Maybe we could have a chuckle this morning. First of all, the one thing, only one thing that I would say that was somewhat, not even totally, because he way overdid it, okay? But the one thing that you do want to be cautious about is whenever you're messing with the mica, you don't want to get it stirred up in a manner to where it gets all in the air. You just don't want to be breathing that stuff in. But that's no different than whenever you spray a screen. You want to wear a mask because the last thing you want is to get all that acrylic stuff in your lungs, right? I mean, that's just something you want to be careful with. When you're messing with any kind of materials like this, you always want to be cautious. But let me squelch any fear that he may have put into minds out there. I've got an 83-year-old lady that lives just right down the road from us. Her name's Ann, and she makes what do you call it? Artisan soaps, right? So she uses mica, all different colors of mica, to make these very interesting looking soaps that she sells at like natural fairs and some of the fruit stands and stuff around here, because we have a lot of tourism that comes through here in the fall and summertime too, around the mountains. So she makes a pretty good little side income selling some of that stuff. 83 years old, she's cautious with it, but it's not so bad that, she's just going to kill over and die because she breathed a little bit of it in one day. So it's no different than messing with acrylic paint. You don't want to mess with acrylic paint in a room where you don't have proper ventilation, right? So all of this stuff you want to be cautious with, but a little bit of common sense goes a very long way. And this stuff is not so toxic to where you're going to wind up with some weird disease in the hospital, right? So just be careful, as and I would always recommend that anytime you're messing with any kind of paints or any kind of polys or anything like that, that you be cautious and you wear a face mask, to make sure you don't breathe that stuff in. But mica is actually a rock flake. It's a mineral flake, right? So it's just one of those things you don't want it all dusty and in the air. But that's where it ended. Okay, so let's go into the next. Now, let me stay there for just a second. I'm sorry. The one reason he doesn't want you to mess with mica, and he's telling you don't mess with this stuff, don't mess with this stuff, is because that's his secret sauce, guys. That's his Burger King recipe. Okay, to all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese. Well, that's his special sauce, and that's all he's got. That's all he can use in paint to try to get it shiny, that or silver metallic paint. And those are the only two things. Now I say silver metallic paint. He could use some sort of pearlized paint. But it's all got metallic in it. So metallic flake and mica are the only two things that this knucklehead's going to have to bring to you to offer. That's it. But let's get into the really interesting stuff. So I had to crack up, guys, whenever he got to the body gel. All right, so when I said body gel, I'm not talking about the stuff you take a shower with, you idiot. It's This is an acrylic body gel. It's a filler. It's called a body gel because it gives the acrylic paint body, so that you can get different textures. If you're a painter, if you're using acrylic paints to paint something, it's so that you can get texture out of out of your acrylic paints and build it up. So it's not. Instead, this idiot whips out Vaseline, which I'm sure he grabbed from his nightstand, right next to where he keeps his tissues, while he's watching his little ladies rub fabric together and whisper to him. So, I mean, how would somebody take that so literal, right? It's a body gel. So I'm just going to go get me some. I forget the names of some of them now. I'll go get some Axe body gel and start trying to use this stuff. And then the other thing is the polyurethane. So polyurethane, that's a waterborne. Minwax is a waterborne polyurethane. You use it to put a protective coating on things, but it's not necessarily something. He gives this big example about how it's used for decks and it won't crack. You don't use that for decks. Okay. Anybody who does knows that, or anybody who doesn't know that that's not optimal what you want to use for decks, because it does crack. Okay, even if it's just small little microcosms, okay, but it does crack. You want to use an oil based outside with decks and things like that, because that way it seals it. Okay, so the waterborne stuff doesn't seal it, and it's not good for floors because it wears down way too fast. You can use it on floors, and there's better grades that you can use on some floors, but Minwax is not something you want to use on your floor, and it'll even tell you so on the container itself. Okay, so don't take my word for it. Read the container that they tell you themselves. But that's just a level of misinformation that he's always done. You know, he feels that that free paint mix is going to threaten his business in some way. So, you know, and that was the intent, guys. Honestly, I forthcoming. I put it out there just so you guys didn't have to go to somebody like him. To get something that's superior to him, and you can actually tweak it the way that you want it, and not just be $500 in with some glop on a $3 sheet of roofing felt. Okay, so that's all this cat has to offer you. That's all he's ever had to offer. I mean, you look at it, he's been out there 10 years, and how has he advanced anything? He can't even staple a screen on properly. If you look at his screens there, if I'm going to go to a landscaper and I see the landscaper's house looks like crap, I'm not going to get him to come do my property, right? Same thing. I mean, why am I wanting to buy a screen from somebody who can't even put a screen together well? And he talks about these interesting demos. I'm always doing interesting and exciting new demos, thinking out of the box. You got to think outside of the box. Most of those demos are complete and total stupid to me. Now, maybe you guys are interested in them. Maybe so, you know, like the floor projection. I mean, how's that going to work? Really? Because as soon as you get people out on the floor, if you use it as a dance floor or something, you got nothing but shadows everywhere. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to hang over a deck and just look down at the ground the whole time. And it's one of the stupidest ideas I've ever seen. But, you know, more power to you if that's the kind of thing that you like. But what I would say is, how interesting and new is to show 9 out of 10 videos where you're just beating up on a little white panel or a little gray panel or both, right? And that's what people have been subjected to that watch that channel for over a year now, is just the same video done 50 different ways, you know, over the past year plus. So it is what it is, guys. I mean, you know, I've told you this guy's irrelevant. He knows it. He knows that all his little partnerships with his minions aren't working to his advantage like he had hoped they would. That he can't just come out and run people off anymore, because that's his thing. In the past, he's always tried to scare people off. But he knows I ain't scared. I ain't afeared, won't be afeared, never will be afeared of you, Mr. Bird, because, well, I'm smarter. You guys have a good day and take care. Bye.